Hey, what's going on guys? This is the second episode in this series where I'm going to go through the top known toxins and talk about what they do to our bodies and how you can avoid them from your life. In this episode, we're going to talk about genotoxins. In short, genotoxins are those chemicals that do damage to our DNA or chromosomes in the body. Now, there are multiple ways a genotoxin can impart damage onto our cells. Our DNA is a double helix structure, and a genotoxin can break one of those strands or it can break both of those strands. It can cross-link your DNA. It can cause something that's called a point mutation, where a single point in your DNA is changed, or it can cause something called chromosome aberrations or chromosome mutations. Our cells have inbuilt mechanisms to repair themselves from such damage. Of course, there are genotoxins in the environment that our bodies are exposed to all the time. And the way our bodies deal with such genetic damage, they try to repair the cells, or if this damage can't be repaired, then our body might kill off these cells in a process known as apoptosis. Now the thing is, although our bodies are used to seeing low levels of genotoxins in the environment, they're not used to seeing high doses of these materials. So what happens when your body sees too much of these compounds is that it's unable to repair itself and go back to what was normal. And then sometimes when cells lose the control to repair themselves, you start seeing things like tumors or cancer. Now, how much should you worry about a genotoxin if you ever come by one? Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this a 9. Although it's not as bad as being exposed to something like botulinum toxin or cyanide, where your body can't do anything about it and there's a chance of death immediately, it's still something that you should definitely worry about if you ever are exposed to one, because the rates of cancer are going up. Cancer is a pretty bad disease to have. A really commonly consumed genotoxin is acrylamide, and you might have heard of these in newspapers. It's what we consume through coffee and sort of burnt foods. Especially if you like eating burnt chips, then you're eating a lot of acrylamide, and that's a genotoxin. That's not good for you. Areca nut, that's quite commonly consumed in South Asia in things like pan, does contain genotoxic compounds. You might have seen in people who are addicted to eating a lot of areca nut or sobari tend to get oral cancer, and this is very common. And if you haven't got cancer and you're addicted to a genotoxin, then that probably means that your body is really good at repairing its DNA, or it just means that you're really lucky. Some common and strong genotoxins that we see in our day-to-day lives include aflatoxins that are produced by fungus or mold. And aflatoxins can be found on grains or peanuts that are infected or left around. So this is of course just one of the reasons why you shouldn't eat something that's been left around for too long. A lot of heavy metals can also be genotoxic. They can produce things that are called reactive oxygen species in our bodies, and those can be mutagenic. So you want to stay away from those as well. Chemical solvents like benzene are also mutagenic, and a lot of reactive dyes are also mutagenic. A general rule of thumb is that if something is reactive, then you probably want to stay away from it. There's a chance that it might react with your DNA or cause indirect damage to your DNA. Now, genotoxicity is obviously an issue for companies that want to produce safe products. Having genotoxins in your products means that your customers have a higher chance of getting cancer, and that's definitely something no company wants to deal with. The way we find out if something is genotoxic is mainly using an assay called an Ames assay. And this is a bacterial reverse mutation assay. And all that means is that in an Ames assay, we take a certain bacterium known as Salmonella typhimurium, and these bacteria are inserted with a certain gene that provides resistance to an antibacterial that they're made to grow in. While that gene is mutated, that bacteria can't survive that harsh environment. So the only way that bacterium is going to survive is that material that you have given to it, if it's genotoxic, it reverses that mutation, it goes back to what it should have been, and then the bacterium can survive in that harsh environment with an antibacterial. Now, something can be genotoxic to a bacterial DNA, but not to a human. So there are also other tests like a Comet assay, because in the test we take animal cells, we give it this compound that might be genotoxic, and if it is, then that compound damages the DNA. When the cell is put on an electrophoresis gel, it leaves a trail of damaged DNA behind, and it makes it look like a cool comet. So that's how we find out if something is going to be safe to be put into a product or not. If you found value in this video, then do hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell button so you know when I release my next video. The next episode is going to be on allergens, and I'm going to give tips on how to avoid allergies. I'm Roshan Mattel. You have a nice week.